us to write a poem on a post-it. Poem on a post-it. Practically perfect poetry on a post-it. Procrastinating predictably, I've put off this post-it process, preferring to ponder professions of possibilities. While I've wrangled with which words would work, with wicked wit, a week's wriggled by, with worldly wonders wrecking walls of my why-nots and wind-blown weeping willows. Wonder why? Wow. Thought I'd start y'all off easy. All right, here we go. This one's called What's Up? Boom! Yep, that was it. The sound of my conscience on permanent standby mode. What the fuck happened? The alarms were all set, not by the chimney, but with the utmost of care. No, not for St. Nick, but so that I would be there when the time was right to start my day, make my move into the next phase of my personal evolution, into the self I once was supposed to be. You know, the me that was me before the fly buzzed past, before I really died. You were there, weren't you? Just that moment when no one was looking. Oh, how in my own time I was seeing the overcooked death by chocolate that has become my drudgery. That damn ticking. There it is again, that same goddamn ticking that never stops, even within the vestiges of my oh-so-faceted mind. Such a nifty existentialist, swift sleight of mind, just like the wafting aroma of skunk scent once it's grown into the roots of your primitive mind's eyes. Boom! Yep, that was it. The sound of my conscience on permanent standby mode. What the fuck happened? The alarms were all set. Ah, to hell with all this rumination, invalidation, consternation, my inner wicked area of outer courses which never end up on time for the task at hand. Who the hell needs alarm clocks anyway? That was for my baby who has to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning. I do too, by the way. Yeah.
Ungodly.
It's hard. All right, this is kind of my little small PSA, sort of hats off to Bugsy. This is about my poetry. Since most of you guys in here, I don't even think know who I am. This was called An Aside to Arrogant Haters, and this was to someone who intimated that I was just, talking out my ass. No fake IDs or pretense here. My poetry, my word, it's autobiographical testimony. An account of events real and survived. A past filled with lies, haters, and ne'er-do-wells. So me, I lived my shit. What I spit is totally fucking legit. And this stage is my space to deal with it. Peace. And a little bit more of an explanation. Who am I? Who am I? Little owl at your service, a little woman with far too many facets for one glimpse, you see. I am a girl who wields a sword, but not a blade with spoken word. A victory of the people. But really, who am I? What an insane fucking question. I've sit and stared into spaces, considering my many races, my multicolored faces that fit not so fucking nicely into the spaces of our current America. How did our world become such a collection of places where putting words to one's faces proves just how misplaced is the race to become myself? How did we all devolve? Now, though I hatched out of the Thompson brood, like them I am not. Their legacies stop right fucking here. No alcoholic, codependent, slick-ass, sick-ass bypass from personal responsibility. No, not for me. See, Jerry plus Shirley equaled a nuclear holocaust, the fallout that became my tormented childhood. Why don't they grant licenses, you see, for this business of entrusting our progeny to a set of psychotic, drunken, pedophilic twosomes? Just fails to cut it. See, I know who I am. God damn, I ought to. I have struggled so openly, so honestly, to live freely, to be me, as me, without all the Thompson twosomes trying to tell me who I'm supposed to be. See, those Thompsonian twosomes were too gruesomes for my spirit. So let's hear it for the bliss of chosen sobriety. I'm a multi-ethnic Native American philosophy teacher, a woman of color, a lesbian poet who knows it's more important to live life without excuses, despite the world's abuses and social misuses of political identity, one-drop rules, and ridiculous notions of genealogical pedigree. See, inside this brain lives insane family remains, but my pain is not some part of a DNA strain. Instead, it's a game, a canvas, my brain. Give me a pad and a pen, and that's my place to begin. That pain brought me to this mic and this stage, a repository for that mental rage. But there's much more in store, of that I am sure. Poetry heals me and feels me into life's next moments, a place for real healing. The pain shines through these pages, all my pent-up fucking rages that flew through my ages that comprise the start of my little poetic art. You now hear so clear when I'm spitting right here for all the years lived near to the end of life so dear to everyone but me. There was a time, you see, back in the 80s when all this lady could think of was death becoming her into no moreness. Coffin nails and suicide wails were all I could see. Then in the 90s, I thought it was behind me, this desire to end it, to hell with its stupendous hold over me. Toxic parents crossed with a double dose of the emotional incest syndrome equals women who think too fucking much, living a life addicted to unhappiness, sipping teas and waiting for the courage to heal. A recognition that self matters, family comes first, because we must ceaselessly work on our life strategies, keeping our relationship rescues firmly in grasp. We are highly sensitive people, you know. But I digress. Self-help and courage and me, this you gotta see. See, I learned when once I was a small child that weebles wobble, but we don't fucking fall down. Looking backwards, reflecting inwards, I am still seeing outwards that this axiom holds. I am a weeble and I often wobble, baby, but yet I had never fall down. I'm not going into those 12 steps to hell. Others teeter, and while they fucking totter, I write my poetic postcards from the edge of some kind of reason. Peering from this poetic precipice, I see a canyon filled with neurotic nutcrackers who fell from grace. A legion of their failed attempts to make me and to break me into a likeness of themselves. Family legacies and broken reflections of what might have been. How I've weebled, and yes, hell, I've wobbled. But we Nevermore girls, we don't fall down. We fall inward, and path is onward, mending the fences of our splintered and beautiful minds. Looking toward the light, we gaze upon fractured glasses, all those sickly damn trespasses on the mirrored masses of childhood, innocence lost. Yet now I'm trembling anew into landscapes of real possibility, a place for truth-tellings and tricky tongue teasers, the real crowd pleasers that pluck out like geezers the hairs of monstrous squeezers who had their way with the child's version of me. Now as I close, why did I struggle to compose a bit of anti-prose simply to depose all the world? Who knows? Little owl, that's me, and one day you'll see just who I can be. Once I've figured out what it really sounds like to be me in pretty poetry words that make non-prosaical sense of the chaos that equals me. Stay tuned. Okay, another digression. This is from I say that I have 3 failures and a wife. And she's sitting right here, the little visor.